President Robinson, faculty, staff, family, friends, and Florida A&M University graduating class of 2020. I'm Melvin Carter, a 2002 FAMU graduate currently serving as mayor of my home city, St. Paul, Minnesota. Congratulations on graduating from one of the finest institutions on the planet. I'm honored by the opportunity to share this milestone moment with you. I'm sure you've already gotten a glimpse of how fantastic your decision to attend FAMU was through the expertise of our professors, the countless ways in which excellence with caring is more than a slogan, and the brilliant scholars you've met along the way. These lessons were clear the moment I got to FAMU in the fall of 1997. We had just been named Time Magazine College of the Year, and I'm sure you can imagine the mood on campus. You could hear it in every conversation. You could see it on our faces and in the way that we walked. Our palpable pride for our university was the spark that lit the eternal flame which was built at the center of our campus to mark that honor. We knew we were part of something big, but didn't yet know exactly what it was or how greatly it would be tested. In the 4-ish years I spent at FAMU, I learned a lot about leadership. In the School of Business and Industry, I learned a leader must surround herself with people who know and can do things that she cannot. In my fraternity, you know which one, I learned that leaders must band together to support and hold each other accountable. And I learned on the track team that real leaders can often be recognized not by their words or speeches, but by the mud on their shoes. Your actions speak so loud, Coach Lang would tell us, I can't hear one word you say. As much as those formal activities at FAMU shaped who I am, the eternal flame within me burns even brighter because of the trials that met us there. Looking back, my time on campus reads like a civil rights immersion experience. In a span of just a few years, we faced constant attempts to delegitimize our university, a statewide assault on affirmative action, and 2 racially motivated pipe bombings of campus buildings. In my senior year, we found ourselves at the epicenter of Election 2000 between Texas Governor George W. Bush and Vice President Al Gore. That year, our presidential election was decided by Florida, and Florida was decided by 537 votes. But just before Election Day, 12,000 Florida voters, including many of our classmates, were wrongfully purged from the voter file under the leadership of then Governor Jeb Bush, President Bush's younger brother. I wasn't a super political student. I remember thinking I'll probably vote after class if I have time. But I was living with my sister Anika and her family, and my brother-in-law declared, everyone living here is going to vote today. So I got in the car. When we finally made it to the front of a line that stretched to the parking lot, Anika and I voted, but Roy, who had made me come along and spent a half hour in line with his 2-year-old daughter in his arms and his voter registration card in his pocket, he was turned away. My classmates and I were tragically blessed with experiences like these that forged our character and values. But more than that, those experiences called us beyond ourselves, beyond term papers, grad exams, and career fairs, to a new understanding of the world and our place in it. For the first time, I felt directly connected to what had once felt like my grandparents' struggle for human dignity. I thought about my own children years before they were born, knowing one day they would hear these stories and ask their dad, what did you do about it? Every generation has moments like that, and yours is right now. You are graduating into a global pandemic, record numbers of unemployed workers, hungry children and homeless families, and more intense racial and economic strife than ever in our lifetimes. Just like I grew up wanting to know where my parents and grandparents stood during critical chapters like Pearl Harbor, Freedom Summer, and the March on Washington, our children will call you and me to account for our actions now. If that feels like a lot of pressure, believe me, it is. but the endless list of rattlers who have reshaped the globe in business, politics, health, education, entertainment, and every other discipline proves that you too are ready. Your final months of college haven't been what you planned, and I lament that with you. But you too will find that all these trials you've faced are uniquely preparing you to fulfill your calling. That fact is clearer than ever for me today. In all the ways the world has turned upside down since George Floyd was murdered. I've shared that my father is a retired policeman, one of the first black officers hired after a lawsuit integrated our department. His class of officers, who knew our names and were invested in our future, were like superheroes in our neighborhood, using their badges to solve problems no one else could. But their experiences weren't all good. I grew up hearing about the daily aggressions Dad and his colleagues faced, and white officers who swore never to back them up. I turned 16 and got to meet some of those officers who pulled me over again and again for offenses that clearly had nothing to do with my driving. Many of those experiences still hurt, but they all worked together for good, to provide the understanding I'd need to lead my city through these past few months, hopefully toward a better future. I'm convinced FAMU can teach you anything in the world except how not to show out for FAMU. So when Will Packer, Rob Hardy, or Anika Noni Rose make a new movie, when Pam Oliver, Tiffany Green, or Greg Coleman call the plays on professional sports, when John Thompson or Shundron Thomas are breaking down the economic and business news of the day, I stop everything, I turn up the volume, and I make everyone take notice. So I was overwhelmed to speak on Face the Nation, the Sunday after George Floyd was murdered, just before Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, and just after attorney Ben Crump, who built his Tallahassee law firm with our fellow rattler, Daryl Parks, as his partner. Even as some still question the relevance of historically black colleges and universities, the extent to which FAMU alumni and friends have stepped forward to guide America through this storm cannot go unnoticed. I want to leave you with this. The book Good to Great tells the story of a man who, without a watch, could look at the sun or feel the magnetic pull of the earth and tell you the exact time to the second. Can you imagine how many headlines and primetime news stories this trick would command? But what if, instead of just telling the time, he dedicated his life to building clocks? It would be less exciting, but more impactful. People would know what time it is even when he wasn't there to tell them. As our newest Florida A&M alumni, you clearly know what time it is. But don't just be a time teller, be a clock builder. As our iconic SBI Dean, Dr. Sybil Mobley, used to say, don't just settle for doing well. Your time here has prepared you to do good. I'm doing all the good I can, and I will always appreciate the love Rattler Nation has shown me. But it's not just me. My faith in God, my wife and family, my team of city staff, friends, fraternity brothers, former classmates, and supporters all keep me going in ways you might never imagine. I'm forever grateful to rattlers like Sharon Letman, Philip Agnew, and Andrew Gillum, who stepped forward and volunteered their time and energy to be a part of my support team over these past few months. Remember that your story, too, is both about a student who worked hard, wrote papers, and passed tests, and about an entire circle of parents and relatives, friends and classmates, teachers and mentors who've pushed you forward to this moment. As you start this next season, take good care of those people who matter in your life. Take good care of your community, and take great care of yourselves, because we need you now more than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay encouraged. Drive yourselves and each other to excellence. Keep your masks on, and find creative ways to stay socially connected despite our physical distancing. And as I learned running countless laps around Griffin Track, no matter how big the challenge or how tired you get, Keep on putting one foot in front of the other, and you'll accomplish any task. Congratulations, class of 2020. We are all proud of you.